Well. Just let me get set up here, guys. I'm waiting for some people to come in. Especially there's some couple of really important people. Hopefully they see this. So yeah, plug this in and say good day to everyone. Just waiting for a few people to come on in. So just wait for a few people. Guys, I'll just put my just kind of come on live and update everyone with what the happenings that's been happening lately. Shit, I hate this. I'm just trying to do some work on the Laffy as well. Who's just coming, guys? Please let me know who it is and what it is. Just want to wait for a few people to come in, as I said. Just gonna wait. Thank you for that, whoever's just come in. I just might be able to. I can't see who it is. Sorry, guys. At the moment, I can't see who it is. Dr. Hey, Sharon, how are you? I'm just waiting for a few other people to come in, though. Just an update with what's going on at the moment. I'll just increase my brightness because my phone is being an absolute twat waffle. And it's turning my contrast down. Just wait for a few more people to come in. Yeah, I'm good too. I'm just going to give you an update because you're here. I put in for some leave a month in June. You might have heard me talking to Sean and Nick in one of Sean's lives about it. That leave has been approved. I found out today it was approved. So I've just started booking stuff. So I know I've got these things booked. So the coaches have been booked. So yeah. So that's the start. Once I know what's going on, I can start booking other things at the moment. So that's the start. So I've got my travel from home to a little town at the foot of the Blue Mountains called Lithgow. It's all paid for, and as is the coach from Sydney to Melbourne and back. Now I've got my accommodation booked, but I am paying that on the day of arrival at the hotel. I'm staying at an Ibis in Melbourne. So there's pretty well an Ibis and a core branded hotel or accommodation facility on every corner in Melbourne. And I prefer to stay at the Ibis. I prefer to stay at those with the. Well, I'm going to get to my status credits this time. I'm going to be upping my status this time. So 694 points for the 8 nights I'm staying at in Melbourne. Then I'm going to be staying in Dubbo, two lots of times in Dubbo, 2 nights each time there. So I'm going to well and truly crack into the next a core live limitless status level. So I'm going to go from classic to bronze in 2024. So so each tier, I'm currently at classic. So with the amount of stays I'm doing in 2024, that will cover it. You need to get a minimum of 2,000 points or 10 nights. Whatever the point. Well, 10 nights. Well, that's going to get there. That based on that, I'm going to get to that. So it'll be 12 nights in total. So I'll get an extra 2 nights into the next level to upgrade to silver. So that's that. I'll be sending a friend of mine a message later on. I've got a list of people I've got to ring this weekend to just to tee up a time with them. One of them has the easiest cell phone / mobile phone number in my phone book, and I can dial that one without even worrying about looking him up in my phone, in my contacts list. So yeah. What else? I was thinking something there. Yeah, so that's that one. I'm going to be taking my time going into Sydney. I don't have to be in Sydney. Just double check this. FFC booking. That's the one I want. So I don't have to be in Sydney to get on the coach to go to Melbourne until 7 p.m. Both times. So yeah. Back to Sydney on the 17th. So for those uninitiated people, who's the other liker, guys? Please let me know. So for those of you who don't know, I am not travelling with Greyhound on this trip. I am travelling with a operator called Firefly Express. Now they're interesting in themselves. All this, when they say Express, Firefly Express, it is Express. You don't. Every town in their itinerary or on their timetable, only 4 are mandated stops. The FE30, I'll find out. Just give me a sec. I'll jump over and I'll tell you which stops are on each. Okay, so just bear with me. I'm just loading the website up. I decided to go with Firefly because I know one of their full-time drivers. Timetables. Sydney to Melbourne, view timetable. Hey Ramdas, how are you? It's evening here. It's 7:45 p.m. here. Well, 7:42. My computer's 3 minutes fast. My iPhone's spot on time. I was just saying to Sharon, most of my 20 days of leave has been approved for June, so I'm happy with that. So I'm just saying the company I'm going with is a company called Firefly Express. They run express services. They don't stop at every stop that's listed on their timetables. So there's only 4 major stops on the Sydney to Melbourne run. Central Station in Sydney. Yes, which is a meal break. I've got to look that up. And Yes Valley Way. So we depart from Sydney at 7 p.m. Our first meal break is at 11:05 p.m. at Yes, which is on Yes Valley Way. Rub it in. It's early, isn't it? I wish it was that early here. I'd be getting up to get ready to go to work, but alas, it's not. Yeah, so Sharon, there's 4 mandated stops on the trip. So we start off at Central Station in Sydney. Hey, Frack. We start off at Central Station in Sydney. The mandated stops after Central are Yes for a meal break at 11:05 p.m. Then we have another meal break at Albury at 25 minutes past 2 the following morning. And then our final stop will be the minute we get off the coach at Southern Cross Coach Terminal at Spencer Street Railway Station in Melbourne. So they're the 4 stops that are listed as compulsory stops. The rest are all on request. We want to go the other way. So FE31, it's reverse. Melbourne, North Albury, Yass, and Sydney, in that order for Melbourne to Sydney. And they're really cheap. You can pay $65, which is a sale fare, or you can go $95, which is a full fare, like full price on it all. Yep, Melbourne, North Albury, Yass, and Sydney. Yep, in that order, going back on FE31. So, and I'll be on. What did I write? CLK. I've got to pop the other one up because I'll give you all those too. If you want to hear what else I've got. So the coach from where I live to Lithgow will be CLK 570. And on the way back it'll be CLK 591. So CLK 591 terminates at Dubbo. There's another service that runs out to a little town called Ningen, which is another 160 k's further west. Excuse me. This is a one of one page. So yeah, so that's basically the coaches that I'll be travelling on. I've decided to come back on the 21st of June. I am going to squirt up to a little town called Port Stephens for a few days as well. So I'm going to book that accommodation when I get closer to leaving Melbourne. So yeah, so that's that in a nutshell. I did say I do know one of the drivers for Firefly Express, which I do. He's a really nice guy. Braddle's the coach driver on. Yeah, is Braddle's the coach driver? Can't remember. I'll have to share a video. He drives for Firefly. Yeah, so. And they also do Melbourne to Adelaide. They also do Melbourne to Adelaide and Adelaide to Melbourne. But a lot of people will opt for the day there's day services as well as night services between Melbourne and Adelaide. There are day services between Melbourne and Sydney and Melbourne, but the more used ones are the overnights. So FE21 and FE31. So Firefly Express 21 and Firefly Express 31. So they run a fleet. Where are we? Where's their? Oh God! Their fleet is a. Hang on, I know what to do. Just pop over here, and I'll tell you what they run. They run a fleet of really nice coaches. They're all up to the minute Euro 6 compliant. Victoria. I want Firefly coaches Maidstone. Firefly Express Maidstone, that's the one I want. So they run quite a nice fleet of coaches, ranging from K320 IB Scanias, K360s, a few little older B7Rs, a couple of Scania K440s. There's one there that in their fleet that they named after one of their drivers who lost his life in an accident. So they've got a lot of really tidy coaches. They've actually even just bought a new generation Scania K410CB with a Coach Concepts body. It's brand spanker. It's a brand spanker. It's 2024 model. So yeah, running quite a few of those 410CBs. So yeah, I've got chats very much longer. I just thought I'd come on and say good day. I was hoping Sean and Nick had come on. Where are they? As you can see, my hair's blowing. It's quite hot. We were in the process of getting a thunderstorm, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. So yeah. Ooh. 47. Oh, I know that. I know what that super load is. If you jump on YouTube and look up Mick O, he's just put a video up of a 477 ton mega load that went from Melbourne to to Albury on the New South Wales Victoria border, all the way up to I've got family that live up there, and as Sean said in one of his lives, it's blue, and I actually have said that myself. The Blue Mountains got their name from the blue hue in the valleys from the eucalyptus oil. When the eucalyptus oil evaporates out of the leaves and the water, that's why it's blue, and it smells fantastic. I'm going to look at doing that when I come back, but on my return leg. I've got to be in Lithgow around 2:30, so I can go and get some lunch and some other things. So just give me a sec here, guys. So yeah, I'm just looking at the fleet list. There's a Denning here that I'm just looking at that I know someone's got here in Dubbo, that actually was delivered new to Firefly coaches. So yeah, so to answer your question, yes, I have. I do get there quite regularly when I go through. I'll introduce you on the way up or down to Sydney for this trip. I will introduce you to a really nice guy who is a really, really good friend of mine. His daughter was 2 years old when she was diagnosed with rhabdomyosarcoma, one of the most horrific childhood cancers. 3 years before she... Hang on, 3 years? No, a year and a half. 18 months before she was in remission, and now she is 100% cancer free. And you will get to meet Angus at his little cafe. I will do a live and introduce you to Angus. So yeah, so stay tuned. Excuse me. What else? We're gonna, because it's easy to get to his shop straight from the railway station. You walk down the ramp off the platform and walk up into Katoomba Street, which is the main street, literally. And his coffee shop is right as you come out at the top. You'll see Katoomba Street. Sorry, is it Katoomba Street going south, or is it Katoomba Street going towards the bridge, then turn right to turn onto the highway? Can't even remember. Sorry, it is Katoomba Street. It's going straight down, because that will take you down to Echo Point, which is where the Three Sisters are. If you have a look at the map of Katoomba, I hate it too. This thing here was a close call. This lump in my chest was a close call. Not knowing whether it was, as I said to a friend's husband today, not knowing what it was, I was fearing the worst. When it came back, it was just a harmless lump. Still doesn't mean it's 100% 100% non-cancer. It might turn into cancer later. But that's the thing. You got to deal with the thing. What's the jigs you're throwing? The cards you're handed. Sorry. Oh, that's what I was thinking. So yeah. We deal with it. Anyway, she's now a very healthy 9-year-old now. She'd be 9 now. She got her wish from Make-A-Wish to go up, and she wanted to fly, so she was able to. There's a whole story to that. I won't go into it because I've forgotten half of it. I was watching her wish through Make-A-Wish, the Make-A-Wish Australia social media page or Facebook page, yep. And her whole journey from where she was to her wish, just really tore me. Because I had someone I went to school with. She had a brain tumour, and she passed away from it. She was only young, about 9 or 10 when she passed away from her brain tumour. We can only pray. That's all we can do. Here in Australia, you've got a 5-year period between your last treatment and you're totally cancer free. That remission period, when you go into remission to when you know you're totally cancer free. That way they know. Yep, Aussie Coca-Cola. Might have to get Nick onto this. Yep, that we can, frack. That we can. I had a friend who was 3 years into his 5-year period post remission, and actually he got struck twice. He had a bout of testicular cancer. Won the fight with that one 3 years later, or 2 or 3 years later. They did a PET scan and they found cancer on his lungs. He was only 24 when he passed away. I helped young Anthony with a few things. He worked for a fish co-op on the south coast. Yeah, it is. Yeah, so what I was saying about my friend, I helped him with an issue. They had an issue with one of their trucks, and they were having trouble getting parts for it. It was a Mac. It was a Mac, but it wasn't a Mac. It was actually a Mac Premium, which is actually not recognised by Mac Australia. So it's recognised only as a Renault. It's only recognised as a Renault. So you won't get parts from Mac. So you have to look abroad. You have to look overseas. To the closest place that got Renaults was New Zealand, and only then they ended up having to get an engine rebuild kit out of New Zealand for it. They couldn't get actually a OEM factory engine rebuild kit for this truck, being that it was I called it a French poodle. I called it a poodle because that's what it was. It was a bloody poodle. So it was a Renault Premium, same but by Renault, which Renault actually owned Mac at the time. So now Volvo Group owns the lot: Renault, Mac, UD, and Volvo itself. So yeah, pricey little exercise to get that rebuild kit in from New Zealand. I think he quoted me nearly $6,000 just for the rebuild kit. So yeah, that's who it was. I just remembered I had to ring someone else. I've just got to write this phone number down, guys. I remembered who the other person was. So just bear with me, guys. I've got a list of phone numbers of people that I've got to ring. I've got a list of people I've got to call and organise to meet up with. One of them has one hell of an easy phone number. Oh, mate. This truck, they blew an airbag in the thing. So my friend turns to me and says, "Can you help us find? This truck's blown an airbag on the. It was a 6x2 with the rear axle as a liftable axle. Can you help us? The boss is having trouble finding the parts. Do you think you could find them?" So there's a place here in Australia called Airbags Australia. So I thought I'll look them up, see if they've got them. So I've thumbed through their catalogue, and I've thought. It said Mac, see also Renault. Anyway, I scrolled to Renault. Anyway, I've found the truck, so I've jotted the part number down, and then I've sent my mate a message back and said, "This is the part number for the airbags. I highly suggest you replace all 4 of them." I said you'd be better off replacing all 4, but by replacing the ones on the lazy axle, they overrode the lift capability, so it stayed down on the ground, which they really wouldn't. They couldn't lift it because the rear overhang was just absolutely deplorable on that truck. Plus, the fuel tank was mounted at the back behind the axles. So all the weight, once that lazy axle was lifted, or the tag axle was lifted, put more weight onto the drive. So the bonus was that lift axle sort of cancelled out the lifting capabilities. If they pushed the button on the dash, it wouldn't lift it up. So I said, right, do those. No. Nope. And I said to him, if you're going to do one, do all 4. Because, was it 4 or... I don't remember whether it was 8 or 4, because it was 4 actually. Was 4. Because the lazy axle only had 2, so they could deflate them and lift the axle up, put more weight over the drive axle. All they did was carted fresh fish straight from the co-op out to the markets, down up to the markets in Sydney. Really nice place where they lived, where he worked out of. Is a little place on the south coast of New South Wales called Bermagui. It's a really, really nice place. Yep, that's what happens. So they bought the 4 airbags, fitted them. Then he rings me up, or texts me, or rings me up later and says she's blown a power steering hose right at the heavy vehicle inspection station in, I think it was Bega. I think they've got one in Bega. The Roads and Maritime Service, or Roads and Traffic Authority at the time's heavy vehicle inspection station, she's blown a power steering hose. I thought, oh man, just ring somebody, ring Pertec. A company called Pertec. They'll come out and fit it, make up a new hose, fit it, bleed the system, get the truck back on the road. That's all well and good. I get another phone call a couple of weeks later. This truck's losing coolant into the engine. The coolant's leaking into the engine from the block and diluting the oil. It's getting coolant in the oil. I thought, oh man, I'm thinking, oh man, you are gonna have so much fun finding a rebuild kit for that truck. Anyway, they did. They found one in New Zealand. Mac Australia didn't recognise the truck. Mac never didn't, because even though they were owned by Renault, doesn't mean they weren't going to recognise the truck. So yeah, costly exercise bringing that over, and another 20 grand to rebuild it. So in this time, my friends jumped out of that into an Isuzu FEM 1400, another lazy axle. But the saving grace, this one was on 6-rod spring suspension, so it didn't have a lift axle. It was a fixed lazy on spring suspension. They ended up getting rid of that truck, let's just say. It's costing them more money than the damn thing was making, and having the fuel tank rearward right under the rear in the rear overhang was bound to cause problems. So they got rid of that and bought another Isuzu, I think he said. My friend actually did his truck driving his license test for his truck for the truck in a tow truck. That's all they could find. It's all they could find at the time. They borrowed someone's tow truck for a heavy rigid driving test for my friend. So 604 Kenworth, T604 Kenworth, with a Century body on it, and he passed. So yeah, never trust anything. When you start digging deep, it's gonna cost you. And it did. But the power steering hose going on the premises of the RTA heavy vehicle inspection station, because they've got to be pitted every year. Buses and coaches are actually in New South Wales. Buses and coaches have to be pitted every 6 months under the bus operator accreditation scheme. If you're a registered bus operator, it has to be done 6 monthly. So you do one at your registration renewal, 6 months after, and again at your next registration renewal. And you pay for it through the nose on your rego before you even have to have them. And they're $110 a pop, including GST. One of my friends used to have a Denning mono coach with the Den Air suspension. 12 grand to register his coach, and he only had the one coach. So most of that's government charges, your inspection station charges, and you've got to pay that times 2 on one lot of rego. So yeah. Then if you fail it, you've got to go and you've got to go and have repairs done, clear a defect, come back, have it inspected again. If it passes, they clear the defect. So in New South Wales, we have 3 tiers of defect notice these days. So you've got what's known as a self-clearing one. So if you get repairs done, you have it re-inspected, it automatically clears it. So if you have an inspection done at the workshop where you're having the work done, it will self-clear itself. Then you've got minor for things like small oil leaks and the like, coolant leaks, small air leaks. But the one that's a yellow sticker. The one you don't want is the major defect, which is a red grounded sticker. Red sticker, and you're grounded. You've got to get a mechanic out to do the repairs roadside. 99.9% of the time, they're not easy to do roadside, especially brakes, and mostly the major grounded is brakes and suspension. Brake suspension, major oil leaks. What else? So another minor defect will be tyres. Like you run your tyres down to a point where they're just bald enough. They've still got tread, but they're starting to go past that wear bar. That's a minor defect. You can drive away, have it fixed, and then clear it. Anyway, I just thought I'd come on and say good day. I haven't done a YouTube live in a while, so yeah. So yeah, that's my trip so far in a nutshell. I'll be talking to Sharon. Are you going to be in on Sean's live on Saturday afternoon, 2 o'clock Australian Eastern summertime? I hope you are, because I'm thinking with a few other things that I've got to do. I'm thinking we might take Nick to I'm going to talk to Sean about that. So yeah. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wind this up before my battery goes too low. Yeah, no, I'll be there. I'll definitely be there. It's 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon. Because Sean and I are pretty much in the same time zone, so let's hope. All right, guys. 2 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. So that would be that'd be, how far behind us are you, Sharon? So that's Saturday afternoon, 2 p.m. How far behind Sean and I are you? Yep. Good. I'm going to catch. You're going to be in Jimmy's live tomorrow night, I'm hoping. I'll be there, or tomorrow morning, your time. I'll be there. I haven't had a chance to catch up with Jimmy in a while. I was going to catch up with him the other day, but because it was getting late, and I've got good news. So I'll just give you the date. Give me my calendar. Daylight savings finishes on the 6th of April. Our clocks will go back 1 hour at 3 a.m. on the 7th of April. So we'll be back to our normal broadcasting time for Jimmy and Co. After that, you wee ripper. Yep, 6 a.m. Eastern time, which is 2210, which is 10 p.m. my time. So he's 16 hours behind me. Myself, Sean, and Sean and Alana. He's 16 hours behind us. But unfortunately, I've got to work tomorrow, so I will be jumping on tomorrow's live. So yeah, so we'll be back. We'll be back in our normal 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time slot for 6 months, and then back to daylight savings. So we start that again. So yeah. So the question is, why did I choose Melbourne in June? Because I'm an idiot. One, I'm an idiot. Two, Sean, Alana and Nick are going to be there. Plus, I've got to catch up with everyone in... I've got to catch up with quite a few people. I've got 4 people to catch up with so far. Then I've got to I'm just going to probably just chill for a couple of days. I'm not going to rush around. So if I'm probably going to spend... I am an idiot. When I went to Melbourne in 2016, it wasn't too bad. It's quite mild. That was September. That was the start of spring. July. Yes, first month of spring, and that was awesome. So I'm going to have to get some other stuff organised. So what I'm planning to do, if you jump on. I'll just give you the web address. I'll just jump on here. If you want to see one place I'm going, it is www.moveshepperton, all one word, .com.au. So that is MOVESHEPA. Oh, sorry. Let me start that again. It is www.moveshepperton.com.au. MOVESHEPPARTON.com.au. That is why I'm going up to the Shepparton area. That is really good value when you think about what I'll be showing you. They've got trucks, they've got cars, they've got buses and coaches, they've got motorbikes, they've got radios, they've got telephones. They've got a section dedicated to the Furphy water tank. What else? Collection. That's what I want to have a look at. I'll buy my tickets for that when I know, because I'm probably going to do that on the Saturday. So they've got cars and motorbikes. They've got a dedicated section for trucks at Kenworth Dealer Pavilion. Local Man's push bike collection. Costume collection. Gramophones, telephones and radios, and the Furphy Museum. So I will be doing maybe a very short live broadcast from the Kenworth Dealer Truck Pavilion. So you will get to see some of the cool trucks from around the Shepparton area. There's one particular truck that I will be profiling. It is a Kenworth T908 with a C15 ACERT Caterpillar in it. Caterpillar C15 ACERT in it with only 600 kilometres on it. That is as it sits there. 600 kilometres on it. Truck that old would have 2.5, maybe 3 million kilometres on it. So 908, that would be a 2008 model truck, which it is. I'll definitely profile that. Alright guys, I'm going to wind this up. You guys all stay safe and we'll talk again soon. Okay? Thanks guys.